Game On Magazine is chatting to Shaun Rubenstein, a South African canoeing legend. Shaun, thanks for joining us today. How are you today?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Always good. Thanks for having me.
That's great, Shaun. Let's start off with, you've achieved so much in your canoeing career, but let's start off, how did you get involved in canoeing?
The canoeing's always been in my family. My father's done about 25 doozies now. So, yeah, I was brought up on the sides of the river, and from the age of 5, I was in the swimming pool in a little canoe and just, loved the water, loved nature, and it was just a perfect fit for what I enjoyed doing.
Shaun, every sport has quite a strict training regime. How strict was your regime, and what exactly did you do to prepare yourself for your various competitions?
Yeah, so it changed as went through the age groups and then into senior. So through school, I just played all sport. I loved sport, and I was probably only paddling 2 or 3 afternoons, and then on the weekends. But straight out of school, I was fortunate enough to be pretty much doing it full time, and then I was training 2-3 times a day, every day. And your whole life is based around the training. So everything you eat, you're sleeping, while you're only training 4 or 5 hours a day, the other sort of 19 hours is all geared around making sure that you're recovered in time so that your next training session can be perfect. So you pretty much dedicate your whole life to perform at your best.
Definitely. Shaun, let's talk a little bit about your support base. There would have been those special people that have been around since day one, since you started your career. Who were they, and what did they do for you to get you to be motivated to get to the top and be at the top of your game?
Yeah, obviously my family. So my mom, my dad, and my brother, they the sort of rock, to keeping the whole thing together. They supported me. Canoeing, you don't have very big income potential, with regards to sponsorships and endorsements and things like that. So they supported me throughout, and my brother especially, he used to travel around and support me at all my races, do all my seconding for me, make sure that everything I needed was in place for the time of the race. And then in tough times, I've been through ups and downs, and there's been conflicts and bad performances and that, and having your folks support you like that, and know that you always got them in your corner is really like a big part of the success or getting the success that you want. And then my coach was also instrumental, Nandal Masi. I was with him from the beginning to the end. And he was really amazing. He knew me inside and out. He didn't have to say anything, and just the way he looked at me kind of got the best out of me. So he was also incredible. And then later on, obviously, I met my wife, and she supported me through the last couple of years of my career as well. So family. It's the biggest thing. Without the family and without that support, you certainly can't get there. And I was very, very fortunate in my circumstances.
It definitely sounds exactly like that. Shaun, let's move on to, as much as you have a support base, you would have had role models growing up. They might have changed throughout your career, but who are the guys that you looked up to? Who are the guys that motivated you to push yourself harder?
Yeah, from a South African perspective, Graham Pabelis is probably my biggest role model. When I was young, like 12, 13 years old, he saw something in me and invited me to his farm, and I used to go and train with him and trip the Doozy River with him, and he taught me that what proper training, good training ethics are. And he even though he passed away a couple of years ago, whenever I'm training, whenever I'm racing, I always have those lessons that he taught me in my mind. And then specifically in sprint canoeing is Alan van Colle, South African guy, competed at the Sydney and Athens Olympics. And while I was coming into the senior ranks, he was the main man, and he used to fetch me from school, take me training with him, and he kind of nurtured me up. And he competed for South Africa in 2004, and I was his training partner right up until the event, and then I managed to get to the 2008 Olympics. So it was kind of a nice follow-on from him.
Definitely. Shaun, let's talk a little bit about, you've achieved so much throughout your career. What stands out for you?
So I think I got two. Competing at the Olympic Games is a massive achievement and goal of mine. I remember watching Ilana Mayo win a silver medal at the Barcelona Olympics. I must have been about 9 years old, and from that day, I was like, wow, competing at the Olympics Games is exactly what I want to do. And it's difficult for a young South African, especially in a small sport like canoeing, and to get there. So I dedicated everything, and getting to the Olympics, qualifying, and actually competing there was one massive highlight. And then winning the World Marathon Championship title in 2006, that's just an amazing feeling. You're standing on the podium, they're playing your national anthem. That's something that I'll never forget and, cherish forever.
A goosebump moment for sure. Shaun, let's talk a little bit of something. We want your own opinion on something. How do South African canoeists fare when competing internationally, in your own words?
We've done spectacularly in the last couple of years. Bridget Hartley won a bronze medal at the last Olympics. Hank McGregor has now won 6 world marathon titles. And I think in total, South Africa in the last decade have won about at least 10 world titles in the senior ranks alone. So marathon canoeing we absolutely dominate. Sprint canoeing with Bridget, winning a medal at the Olympics, we certainly are on the radar across the world. And then in river canoeing, we are by far the best. We've got such a culture of river canoeing here with the Fish Marathon and the Doozy Canoe Marathon that any of the internationals come out here and they stand no chance. And when we go over to do their river races, we absolutely dominate there as well. So canoeing internationally is very strong for South Africa.
So let's take a sidestep for a little bit. The Paralympics are happening at the moment, and Graham Paul is representing Teams South Africa as a para-canoeist, the first African to do so at the Paralympics. What are your thoughts on somebody like Graham, who he's busy trailblazing a new path for South African para-canoeists? What are your thoughts on somebody like that?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible. Para-canoeing is relatively new. It was only introduced to world champs about 5 or 6 years ago. And it's amazing that it's in the Olympics already. And, it's just such a beautiful sport, canoeing, to get out on the water and be active in nature has something really special about it. And it's amazing for him to be at the Olympics and competing. It's just showing that canoeing really is for anyone. There's no limitation. There's no point, you think being out on the water is unstable and you might fall in. It's not. It's really amazing. Anyone can do it and should get out. And, he's a great example, for the beauty of the sport. It really is amazing, and so excited to see how well he does.
Shaun, as we end off, you are an inspiration and a role model yourself. If you had a special message to the next generation of canoeists, what would you say?
I think it's just have your dreams so vivid in your mind that nothing can get in your way. They're going to be ups and downs, and they're going to be days in the middle of winter when it's ice cold. It might be raining and windy, and the last thing you want to do is get up, go outside and train. But those are the moments that make you a champion. Those are the moments that separate you from the rest of the guys. Everyone's talented. When you get to sort of international level, everyone is talented. It's those guys who do that little bit extra. Those guys who train the hardest, who are the smartest about going out there and putting in a great performance. So that would be my message: is be the guy that does the smartest and does more than the rest. When you come to race day, you lined up for success.
Very wise words indeed. Shaun, Gamma Magazine would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for joining us and talking a little bit about your canoeing, and it's been an absolute privilege. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks very much for having me on. And yeah, anytime you want to chat, I'm always available.
Thanks, Shaun.